Hello, welcome back if you're returning. I'm Selena, the empath abroad, and it's interesting how you'll get the most like inspiring ideas when you're doing the most routine of things. So I was in the shower like 30 minutes ago, and I'm thinking to myself, what should I talk about in my next video? And it just entered my consciousness, like talk about like how this whole life abroad started. And in my mind, it was like it was related to a breakup, boredom, and it shows that sometimes having those spells of boredom, you can try to use those to your advantage to ignite change in your life. So boredom is not necessarily a bad thing because you can find a way to move through that and like think about, well, why am I bored? What change do I want in my life? And if there's anything about me, like anytime something starts to feel boring, monotonous, it's a sign for me that I need a change. And thankfully, I've always been the kind of person who has leaned into changing up my life, changing up my strategy, my schedule, my life, changing my name. If you are here for the first time, I was not born Selena. This might be a topic for another video, but I did a legal name change about 3 years ago, so that's another thing. But I'm someone who is all about change. So yeah, but this video, I wanted to talk about what really started this whole life of me going abroad. I kind of feel like a sense of destiny with it. I mean, even as a kid, there were signs. I always liked other cultures and watching Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. If you're a 90s kid, that show might ring a bell. I loved geography and social studies as a kid. And so I want to talk about that. So boredom, breakups, coming abroad. I currently now live in South Korea, but this wasn't the first country I lived in abroad. I've been in Korea on multiple occasions across since 2011. So it's about 15 years that I've been working in Korea, off and on through different, schools and, types of teaching environments. So also, if anything that try again. If you're connecting with anything that I'm saying and my message, this video, please like the video, subscribe, stay along for the journey. Your support really means a lot. You can also hit the notification bell. I love for you to know when my next video uploads and for you to stay connected. So thank you for being here, and we'll go further. So boredom, breakups, it's also 2026, and I realize this whole journey really started like 20 years ago. It was 2006. I'm in my junior year of college, university, whichever term you prefer. And that summer, I had been dating someone, and it was going good, but it was definitely like one of those really short term relationships. And it was for the season I needed it to be. And when the semester started for the new school year, my junior year, I decided I wanted to break up because I felt like we were just becoming very different. Something changed overnight, and I just didn't feel it was something I wanted to continue on with going into the new school year. And we were just really becoming very distant. So through that experience of feeling, it kind of also made me a little distraught because I think it was like my first like heavy breakup, and I just was like starting school, the new school year starting. I'm kind of going through the emotions of the breakup. And also, I was also feeling very bored with my classes, especially my Spanish class. And at that time, I had become, accustomed to the routine of college, moved back into the dorm, classes. And I was just feeling like I don't want my college experience to just be, I got my credits, I went to class, I graduated, now I'm going into the work world. I was really not vibing with that. I was like, I feel bored. My Spanish class is not challenging me in the way that I want to be challenged. I chose Spanish intentionally because even as a kid, I grew up around a lot of Spanish speakers, and it was always a dream for me to become fluent in the language. Yet I'm in my second year of taking Spanish classes. I'm doing good, technically as far as grades, but I didn't feel that I was where I wanted to be as far as like conversational Spanish. And I feel like I want to change that. If there's anything about me when it comes to routines, if I feel that something is becoming too monotonous, if I don't feel growth or change happening, I will go ahead and like initiate change and do something to shake it up, because I'm like, I want to feel like I'm growing. I want to feel happy. I want to feel, that I'm enjoying this process and experience. And at that point, I was like, if I don't change something, I am not going to be happy and satisfied with this whole college experience. And I was like doing great, like really great. But I was like, I need to change something. The emotions of the breakup were also with me. So that kind of had like my spirits and emotions a little bit down. So I was like, I want to change. I want to do something different. And also something else I was doing as a new change, I also started like transitioning out of my relaxer. So it's almost 20 years that I've been natural. It'll be 20 years in 2027. And so at that time, yeah, I was like, break up, decided to transition out of my relaxed hair so I could go natural. And now I'm like, I want to do something new as far as academics go. And it hit me like, I want to go study abroad. And once I got that, I felt like this rush of excitement. I felt like, oh, this is bringing me back to life. I felt that, because up until that point, I just felt like, man, how is this semester going to go? I'm feeling bored. I just need a change. I need something that's going to help bring me back to myself and give me that sense of joy in my life. Like I just felt the routine. I wanted something different. So I was like, I'm going to go study abroad. And immediately I was like, I had a mission. I had a focus of something beyond just going to class every day. Because I was like, I don't want this college life to just be about go to class, get your degree, and that's it. I want to have something that I can sink my teeth into, something that can be meaningful for me once I graduate. And so immediately I was like, I have a mission. I have something that needs to happen. I went back to my dorm. Like I literally was like, I don't know if I went on Google and was like going abroad. I knew right away. I think Spain was already like the country I wanted to go to. Mexico for me didn't feel like abroad because Mexico is already so close to the US. They're landlocked. The Rio Grande is, but to me it felt like too close to be considered going abroad. And I was like, I want to go to Spain. That's what I'm going to do. And then immediately I was like, okay, who do I talk to? What do I do? I don't know if I already knew about the study abroad office on campus, but I think I found the office. I think I may have already seen like their sign around campus. I think I had already indirectly past their office. But from that moment, I got my binder. I started writing down, I want to go to Spain. And it just immediately, like from that moment, it was September 2006. I went to the office, started the conversation. But it was from that moment of like, I'm bored, I need change, and something needs to happen. And it's interesting from the spiritual side of it that when you really put your heart to something that you are ready to allow bring change into your life, it really can allow things to align in a great way for you, especially when it's like something that feels like it's a part of your heart's calling. It's a part of where you feel that you're meant to be, and it's growth oriented. It's taking you into a new direction. And immediately, okay, I told my parents because I was like, they're, still helping me and supporting me in this college experience. So I let them know, like, I want to go study abroad. I'm going to make this happen. And they were supportive and encouraging. And I knew as well, like, okay, I know this experience is not going to be free. What do I need to do to start this? Like, what's the first step? And the study abroad office was so helpful. And actually what is interesting is because I'm in Korea right now, right? When I went to their office, they were, supportive about my, desire to go to Spain. That was my choice. They still didn't want to like leave anything off the table because they had their own programs as well that they were also providing for students to go abroad in connection with other academic offices on campus. And so they said, oh, we also have this program in South Korea at Yonsei University for Korean language and culture. Now, mind you, this is 2006. This was before the K-pop explosion and K-pop Demon Hunters. I was aware of South Korea. I knew the capital was Seoul. I knew about the 1988 Olympics, but Korea was not on my radar. So it's funny how when I got ready to work abroad after college, that Korea is the choice the choice for me. So it had its, it was kind of waiting on the back burner, maybe subconsciously or when the universe was ready to bring it back into my orbit. But at that time, it's funny how they did introduce Korea to me. I still feel I made the right choice because Spain was where I wanted to go. I wanted to learn the language, and it was where I felt I needed to be. So they showed me programs to apply for. I ended up applying for a Spain study abroad program through a company called Cultural Experiences Abroad, known as CEA. I don't know if they still go by the same name. I'll put their link in the description in case you're someone watching this who is interested in studying abroad. But they were extremely, extremely helpful in the whole process. I chose a great program. Immediately when I looked at, what I needed to do, there was an application fee. So even with applying for the programs, there is a fee that you have to pay. And so I was like, oh, okay, where am I going to get this money for, the application fee? And it's again, it's talking about, spirit just like working everything out. I came across a scholarship, or I think someone, I don't know how, but I got information and word about a scholarship. The application deadline was coming up very closely, but it would be close enough where I wouldn't miss like the application deadline for the study abroad application. So I was like, okay, if I can apply for this scholarship, they're going to give the funds like within a month to the winners. So I applied for the scholarship, went to the interview, and I spoke openly about why I was applying. I mentioned I want to go study abroad. These funds can help me in supporting my path towards, funding my study abroad, paying my application fee. And one of the women on the panel who was interviewing me, she was Puerto Rican. And when I mentioned, Spanish being a language I wanted to learn, and it's like she threw a few Spanish words at me, I was able to catch them and like kind of say a little bit back. But I think that really struck a strong chord with her, where it was like, wow, this young woman wants to learn Spanish, like my native language. I want to kind of be on board for that. And I just kind of felt within my spirit, like, I think I'm going to get this scholarship. And within like a week and a half, I opened my mailbox at my dorm. I saw, the letterhead. I was like, okay, this is from the scholarship organization. I opened it and it was like, congratulations. And the rest is history. I got the funds. They were going to have a scholarship ceremony at a local site like near the campus. It was like the Akron Public Library. Went to school in Akron, Ohio, University of Akron, go Zips. So they put the information of the date they were going to have the ceremony. They were going to, formally, award the scholarships. You can invite family. So I invited my parents, my brothers. And and I think the scholarship check came, I think a few days, it was so long ago, but I got the funds. I got the funds in time enough to apply for the program. So it was like, sent the money in, and from there, I just kind of knew, like, from that moment, like, this is all going to work out. Like, I literally started, this was, putting all the dates together. So I got the scholarship. It was like November 2006. I applied for the program in November, so after I got the scholarship funds. And then from there, it just was like one thing after another. I applied for so many other scholarships because my parents were supportive, but I think they were very apprehensive about, well, how are we going to pay for this? Like, what's the funding going to look like? And I just kind of took it upon myself, the responsibility of like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm not going to rely on my parents. I'm not going to rely on waiting for, them to get the money ready. I'm just going to make sure that I apply as much as possible. I want to show them that I'm really serious about this whole experience, this whole process. And it all worked out. Like, I literally, one thing that I did save, and I'm almost getting teary-eyed, I decided to save all the scholarship acceptance letters that I got from the fall of 2006 all the way through the spring, summer, the winter, spring, summer, all the way leading up to the following year in August 2007 when I went to Spain. All the letters I got for all the scholarships, like, it was like over a dozen. And I saved them because it was like my way of seeing, and even for myself now, even though this was like 20 years ago, for me to really see like how when you commit to something that is meaningful for you, oh my gosh, I'm getting teary-eyed. If you're with me, thank you so much. But really seeing how just betting on myself. And there could have been so many, there could have been so many moments where I could have said, well, maybe this isn't possible, but I refuse to believe that it wasn't. I refuse to believe that this could not happen. I knew like this is going to happen. I knew that I needed to go. I knew that I couldn't let myself just get stuck into a routine of monotony. And I didn't want to feel like because of that breakup that I was just going to, stay at a low point. And I hope that this message can inspire someone to really bet on yourself and to go after what it is that you want. And I can honestly say like that experience of going abroad to Spain, I feel like that was the pivotal moment that really changed the trajectory of my life. I feel that if I hadn't gone to Spain, I don't even think I would really be in South Korea because of the experience of going abroad. That gave me the confidence and the excitement to want to continue this life abroad. Like I felt it was my future self talking to me like, you're meant to be abroad. You don't have to necessarily stay in one country forever. You're just meant to explore life outside of the United States. And because of that, it's exposed me to so many different people. It's allowed me to gain fluency in another language. And I really I leaned in. Like when I got to Spain, like I did not waste a moment. I was like, I am not gonna let this opportunity go to waste. I was doing language exchanges like back to back to back. Like I was like, I'm going to be fluent. I even extended my time there. I initially enrolled to do 1 semester, which was like 3.5 months. But 3.5 months, like you're going through culture shock, adjustment. I couldn't believe when I looked up and it was November and I was like, I have only a month left. Like, how is that possible? I'm not ready to go. I was like, I'm not ready to go back to the States and go back, So I just felt like I need to also extend. So I, went to my financial aid advisor. I talked to the program director that I had in Spain and I let her know, like, I want to do another semester, but I also want to be enrolled at they had 2 different types of programs. So either you could be enrolled at this institution where you did your classes in English, your core classes, and then you had your Spanish class. And then the other track was at an actual Spanish university where all your classes were in Spanish. And that was where I wanted to be. For some reason, and I think maybe for that first semester, it was okay to be in more of like the more heavily English classes for like my sociology and liberal arts classes. So those were more in English and I just had the Spanish class. But to me, like that wasn't enough. And I was like, I want to do full Spanish immersion, all classes in Spanish. I want to go to the other school and do that. So that's what I did. And so it was just a clear example of seeing how betting on yourself means so much and to challenge yourself to just not settle for the simplicity, the easy, the comfortable. And there was so much in Spain where I was like, I am definitely not doing what's comfortable. And I challenged myself to not do the comfortable, to really be in the discomfort, because that's where the change happens. And maybe this video will be entitled like change happens in the discomfort. And it really, really does. Like when you allow yourself to try something new, to move out of a routine that you feel you've outgrown. Like I felt like I had outgrown a lot of things, and I did finish my degree. If I hadn't finished my degree, I wouldn't be in Korea because I needed my degree to work here, to teach here. But I think that having done that experience in Spain, it helped make the remaining years that I had left in my degree, my bachelor's, program, it made it so much easier to move through because I had already seen like, man, I had that experience. I went to Spain. And then when I went back, it's interesting. The reverse culture shock is so real. And it's like I had that whole academic year away. And I kid you not, I actually was planning to not go back to my university. I was in Spain and I was loving it. And I was like really just finding other parts of myself. Like I was really getting more into dance. And I was actually considering dropping out of university. I was like, I just want to drop out and move to New York. And it would have been a really super spontaneous plan, but it would have not been fully, I'm just glad that I decided to wait. I did eventually end up moving to New York, in my early 30s. So it still had its time, and I did do some dance in New York. I even enrolled in a program at the Alvin Ailey Dance School, and we actually did like a performance for the holiday. So it's funny how the dreams you have, like they can still happen, but in their own specific timing. So it wasn't fully thrown away to the wind. But I'm glad I did finish my degree, because if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have been able to come to Korea. And so I am glad that I finished. And I am so glad that I just didn't allow myself to just settle for the routine, that I didn't just stay in a state of like, I guess maybe depression. I don't know if I would call it depression then. It was more so like something needs to change. I was moving through a breakup, and I was like, I need something different. I need to do something. And so I hope that this message can motivate whoever's watching, you who are watching. Thank you for being here. To just take a chance on something new, something you've been wanting to do, maybe a dream that's just been sitting in the back of your mind. You won't know how it's going to be until you actually do it, until you actually take that first step. Because again, I feel like that moment of going abroad, I think, has been a pivotal, life-changing experience. Like I realized if I had not done that, like where would I be like if I had not done that? But I felt like I couldn't not do that. And because of that, in a way, I'm thankful for the breakup. I'm thankful for, having that boredom. I'm thankful that I was so like bored and, not satisfied with the Spanish class I had at my university, because I was like, this is not cutting it. I'm not enjoying this class because it feels like we're not getting the type of conversational Spanish that we need. It's more like, I felt that most people, and I understand we're all different. We're not all the same. Not everybody's trying to be fluent in another language. I understand that. I had classmates who were like, look, I just need this credit so I can graduate. That's it. But I knew for me, I just had a different connection and a different purpose that I wanted to accomplish with Spanish. So I hope I've covered everything I wanted to talk about. I don't script these videos. I just kind of talk on what I feel. And, even now I feel the pull to ignite some changes. I don't want to talk about them now. I'm kind of someone who's like, I don't want to jinx anything, but I'm at a certain moment of my life as well where I am feeling and taking some steps towards some new changes as well. Because once things for me start to feel like, okay, we're doing this, but we need some more growth, we need some new change. So I'm also in that energy as well. And I think that's just a core part of who I am, where once something feels like, okay, it's run its course, I've gotten what I needed to get, what's next? So I'm always someone who's like, what is next? How can I up level? How can I keep up leveling my life to feel that sense of excitement and joy and satisfaction, not having that sense of monotony? And I think that it's what helps me to feel most connected with myself, is to look for ways to grow. And so who knows where I'll be at a year from now as I'm doing these videos, or even 6 months from now, you never know. But I am really looking forward to how this year is going to unfold. I have another milestone of this year, which I think I talked about in another video. So 20 years ago was when I made the decision that I wanted to go abroad. Like just that spark of, I need to do this. I need to take a first step. Something needs to change. So that was 20 years ago. And I'll be turning 40 this summer in August. So like 20 years ago, hitting 40. And these years go by fast. I'm not lying. Like some people may say like, well, what do you mean? It goes fast. I'm like, literally, I'm like, I'll be 50 and then 60. Like 20 years from now, I'll be 60. And I still remember 20 years ago. Like I remember the smell. I still remember everything. Like that. So make this life count. I want to make this life count. I want to continue to just keep my life exciting. And again, I think that we can still use boredom to our advantage. Like when you're bored, what does that mean? Why are you bored? What is something that you want to change? Why are you dissatisfied with something? What is something you want to change? What is not being fed or met within you? Sometimes we may have to just start within ourselves. Our external environment may be slower to change, and it's us who has to be the one to go first. Like I knew, like I can't change my Spanish professor, but I can change and do something that will make me feel happy and excited and to have something to build towards. So building. So I like to keep building. So thank you for being here. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, stay connected. I am Selena, Empath Abroad, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Take care.